you know, I sort of like to be conservative in the valuation of Tesla and say, okay, we have this autonomy piece and potential, but let's just talk about the BEV business alone. You know, what do you think is not even battery storage, but how do you see this evolving, you know, in the next 5 or 10 years, Model 3, Model Y, Semi, and do you see upside in Tesla's share price just based on that BEV piece of the business?
Yeah, so at ARK, we've put out our valuation, and even if you don't include the autonomous piece, we think that Tesla could double just on its EV business alone. And so this is really driven just by, I mean, just to simplify it to its purest point is, you know, top line unit sales and gross margin. And so, you know, a lot of, I don't know why, but throughout the history of Tesla, kind of the bear thesis has jumped around. When they can't produce cars, the bear thesis is Tesla's never going to be able to scale. They don't have the expertise. So, you know, it's a niche player. Then Tesla starts to scale production, and then the bear thesis shifts to there's no demand, right? And so that's kind of where we're at right now. And I think, you know, the numbers speak for themselves, saying that, you know, they are supply constrained. Musk has come out a number of times and said that you look at their market share for the past, you know, since 2013, their market share, global market share of the electric vehicle market has stayed at 17%, which is crazy, as the market's grown 11x.
Wow.
Right? So, you know, I think the data speaks for itself that they are supply constrained. And then, you know, then the bear thesis jumps to, oh, they're going to run out of cash. They're not going to, you know, have the capital to produce these vehicles. In our valuation framework, we actually have them raising $10 billion from the equity markets.
Wow.
To, you know, scale production. So, you know, that's kind of our framework and how we're thinking about Tesla just as an electric vehicle business.
And so when you do that 26 million 2023, how much, you know, what millions is Tesla? I guess this is probably in your model, but I'm just kind of curious of that back of the napkin. Like, is Tesla selling 1.5 million of those basically? And, you know, how much revenue does that translate to and how much like operating income?
Right. So the way that we think about it, so Tesla's had 17% market share since 2013. And in our lower side guidance going forward, 2023, they lose 2/3 of their market share.
Wow.
So that'd be roughly 1.7 million of that 26. So that's like a 6% market share.
Okay.
Right. So, you know, they come down to a, you know, normal automaker type market share. And then, so then what was the follow-up question on that?
I mean, I guess I'm just kind of curious, 1.7 million, you could times it by some ASP.
Right.
We're looking at like
50,
100 billion,
right.
70 billion in revenue,
yeah,
something like that.
So we're assuming like a $50,000 average selling price. You know, then you're looking at, you know, what type of vehicles are in play at that time. You probably have the S, the X, you have the 3, you have the Y, and, you know, we don't even really account that much for the Tesla Semi, but that will probably be in production as well.
Yeah.
And then, you know, a lot of pushback that we've gotten on this is saying, okay, you know, 26 million, that's way too high of a number. One, we don't think so. You know, we think the forecasts have been wrong and are still wrong on the conservative side. But when you look at the market, I think, you know, you have to realize that it's dynamic. You know, this can take off and be a big pie and Tesla has a small slice of it. Or it can be a smaller pie and Tesla could have a much bigger slice of it. And so that's kind of what we've seen in the United States. Tesla's share of the electric vehicle market in the US in 2018, 80%. Right?
Yeah.
So smaller overall pie, but a much larger slice. You know, to be conservative, we're not assuming that it's a huge pie and they get a big slice, right? We're assuming they lose 2/3 of their market share.